Hello all, it's Ruthie with Ruthie Reviews, and today I have got a book that I am extremely excited about. It's Paisley Rabbit and the Treehouse Contest by Steve Richardson, and it's illustrated by Chris Dunn. And it says on the back is really beautiful too. Can a lone girl rabbit with the odds stacked against her surprise Jimmy Squirrel and the other animals to win the big treehouse construction contest? A delightful tale of defying the odds and believing in yourself that alongside playful illustrations kids will want to read over and over again. I think this is actually true. This is a breath of fresh air. This is the sort of book that I am incredibly excited to see coming out, because we haven't seen these sorts of books for a while. In fact, it was so good I looked up to see if it had won any awards, and indeed it has, and I'm not at all surprised. It won the Best Picture Book in the Next Generation of Indie Book Awards and Book of the Year from Creative Child magazine. And I didn't write down the dates when it won, but nevertheless it did win. And I see this was only published back in 2021 by Impossible Dreams Publishing. And this book is really exciting because it gets so many things right. It is such a special book. The book has a purpose beyond itself. It's really beautiful. The dedication was quite moving. This is probably going to be a longer video than my usual review videos, but I think the book is so excellent. It warrants the time, to be honest. So the dedication reads, Paisley Rabbit and the Treehouse Contest is dedicated to my brother David Beckman and to the doctors who were the pioneers of organ transplantation. David was one of the first kidney transplant recipients in the world, with his first transplant led by the late Dr. Thomas E. Starzl, I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologise, who performed the first ever liver transplant in Denver, 1963. David, who has now been through 3 kidney transplants, was just 14 at the time of his first transplant, and he is still alive today at the age of 64, 50 years later, because of dedicated professionals like Dr. Starzl. Having gone through 3 kidney transplants and spending a tremendous amount of time on dialysis, David's life has been extremely challenging. However, he has also had some wonderful healthy years, going on to become a scuba diver. That's better than I've done. He's a very brave man, apparently. Avid hiker and backpacker. All around Mount Congeniality wherever he has lived. None of his triumphs would be possible without the doctors who pioneered organ transplantation back in the 1950s and 60s. As you read about Paisley's Treehouse, you will see that the story is not just about winning contests, but it is also about helping people in desperate need in creative ways. David was the inspiration for Paisley's brother Davy Rabbit, as I have been so moved by his strength and positive attitude for his entire life in the face of so many trials. I would also like to encourage donations to the National Kidney Foundation at www.kidney.org. So straight off the bat, it's beautiful because it's got a purpose beyond the book, which is something I really like in a book. And then the story goes on about little Davy, who's sick and needs a new kidney. I'm not going to go through the whole book because obviously what I really want is I want you to go and buy the book, but I'll just give you a brief overview of what's in it, because then you will know how much you really should go and buy it. So anyway, Davy needs a new kidney, and he would soon need to go to the hospital if Paisley's mum could raise enough money for his care. Now this book has got themes in it I really, really like. It's got themes of empathy, it's got themes of courage, it's got themes of kindness. And I do not think you can ever put such themes into too many children's books, so I'm all for it. But what stood out to me about this book, which I have never seen in a picture book before, is this book has a very entrepreneurial flavour to it, and I absolutely loved it. Because in order to raise the money for Davy's care, Paisley Rabbit does not go about this the way the other, don't want to give too many spoilers, the other contestants in the book, in the Treehouse competition, are going about building their tree houses. It's completely different. It's very entrepreneurial. It's really exciting to see in a book, and that combined with the lessons of kindness, empathy, thoughtfulness for others, and creativity, I was really excited by. I just think this book is so special. The other thing is, you know, when you read a lot of children's books, there is a certain predictability to them. You know, it starts off sounding quite predictable. Oh, you know, little Paisley rabbit needs to raise money because, you know, poor little Davy needs an operation. That in of itself is not a particularly original start to a picture book, that there's a problem and the character needs to raise money and they're concerned and they're full of kindness. It's very good. I'm not knocking it, but it's not particularly original. This book goes in a very original direction. I did not see it coming. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really clever. I am not at all surprised it has won awards because it is extremely well written. The other thing I really liked about this book is it actually has a lot of text in it, and it has beautiful pictures. We'll get to the pictures in a minute. I have got thoughts on the art. But in the meantime, if you look, this book actually has a lot of text in it. And this is really good because I was a late reader. I found learning to read extremely difficult. And there was a stage in my reading development when I was a child that I used to scour the library for picture books that had lots of text in them because I wanted a big story, but I found chapter books intimidating. So this is exactly the sort of book I would have gone for when I was a kid, and I was just sort of progressing from picture books to chapter books. This is a really excellent book. The other thing I would say about it is, as an adult, that is also a big advantage because I sat down and I read this book and I was able to read it relatively quickly. I'm a fairly quick reader, but I was not able to read it in 5 minutes. I had to take my time over it, and it was really enjoyable to be immersed in a storybook with these beautiful pictures and this interesting story, which was not at all predictable. It did not go where I thought it would go. It was a wonderful story. Yes, so I would say a treasure for children, but if you are an adult who doesn't have children, you'd still do well to add this to your book collection because of the literary value to it. And now we are going to come to the second part of the book. I really like the art, and I think for that I'll just move the camera over. The art is so good. It's so appealing. Absolutely beautiful. But what happens as you get into this book is it starts off feeling like a very pretty job on the illustrations. And then as you go into the book, as you get further into the book, you start to notice something. You start to notice that Chris Dunn, oh my goodness, he is a master of drawing. Look at the perspective in that. And this book just keeps revealing more and more perspective and more skill. This is an incredibly skillfully done book. This is, oh, look at the precision. Look at that. Look at the perspective. It's just, it's a masterclass. It's a masterclass in drawing. It's just, wow. Look at that. Look at that. Do you have any idea how hard that is to do? I know that's hard to do because I can't do it. That is so clever. Just beautiful. It's the sort of book that anyone could enjoy because we're all wired to appreciate beauty. It's part of being a human. But if you are an artist, you will be inspired and challenged and wowed by the pictures in this book because the technique is just exquisite. Just the artistic value and the technique and the skill. And you will definitely be in this book and in this book and in this book trying to work out how Mr. Chris Dunn did it. And I just seldom find a picture book that I just keep staring at and staring at and staring at and taking out of the shelf to keep looking at because it is just that good. But this one absolutely is such a book. I got the book from Amazon, but I imagine you can get it from wherever good books are sold, and I will link in the description below the author and illustrator's websites. I'll also link their Instagrams, and also out of respect for the vision of the book, I will see if I can link the National Kidney Foundation, because that of course is why the author wrote it. I really do recommend this book. This is a very, very beautiful book. It is a book of enormous literary merit. It is a book of incredible artistic skill, and actually in a world where we get told constantly that everything is bad and everything is going backwards and we're losing our culture and everything's becoming ugly, this was a breath of fresh air. It lifted my spirits, and I bet it will lift yours too. So I highly recommend Paisley Rabbit and the Treehouse Contest, written by Steve Richardson, Chris Dunn. And I also want to thank the Wandering Post for making me aware of Mr. Chris Dunn, because what a wonderful illustrator and also what a wonderful writer, and I feel my life has been greatly enriched by finding both of them. So I hope you get the book and I hope you enjoy it, and if you don't actually want to buy the book, consider getting your local library to order it in, because it really is a wonderful book for anyone. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.